Hey guys, I don't care what sport you watch. This is where the best information is. Today, we are breaking down the structural implications of Adam Silver's proposed changes to the NBA draft lottery system and dissecting the tactical failure of the New York Knicks' defensive rotations against a depleted Detroit Pistons roster.
It is the loudest sport in the world, and people scream and the ball makes a lot of noise, and it's a torn ACL waiting to happen.
It is. Usually when they tear their Achilles, it gets a lot louder. Yeah.
Absolutely. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, Adam Silver goes after tanking, the Pistons own the Knicks, and Jay Billis joins us to talk about a huge weekend in college hoops. But we begin again today with the Winter Olympics. In men's hockey, the USA put up a big crooked number on Slovakia and is headed towards a gold medal showdown with Canada, who came back from 2 goals down to beat Finland earlier today. Wilbon, I presume this is where you want to start with today's results.
Yes, we're at that portion of the program. We got big hockey games. We got the best teams, and now we're really down to the 2 best teams, the United States and Canada. You got the greatest players in the world. I mean, you've got, McKinnon, scoring the goal that lifts Canada, with the assist from McDavid. You've got the best players in an exciting format. And I know now you've caught on a little bit. You like the overtime. You love the 3-on-3, the wide open nature of it. Tony, There's nothing to dislike. And the United States comes out and we got the favorable draw in the semis, it seems, and just bludgeon, Slovakia, and that was turned out to be nothing. But now this is what we want, right? Don't we want U.S. Canada?
Yes. Yes. I watched the Canadian game. That last power play, that was incredibly exciting. It looked like Canada had 80 shots on goal and somehow couldn't get it in until McKinnon got that. So they score with just 2 seconds left in the power play and just 35 seconds left in the entire game. I mean, Canada has cut it close a couple of times now.
Yes.
And Canada, Canada invented it's their sport. It's their national sport. If they hadn't gotten in to the Winter Olympics gold medal game, I think there's a sense of mourning in all of Canada, but they made it. And it was truly exciting, I thought. I really did. Can I just mention one other thing, Mike? I watch the Olympics, as you know, every day. I watch in the morning and I watch in the early afternoon. And curling is on every single day.
It's on a lot
When does curling end? When does it end? Are they going to play the gold medal game in August? Where do they get these brooms? They are out there hours every day curling. Every day.
Tony, of course, you and I have covered multiple Winter Olympics each. And the curling, we would go to the curling, you or I would go to the curling.
It's fun.
And our colleagues, remember, they would get angry. They're like, what are you doing? You're wasting our time.
It's fun.
You're going to the curling. You couldn't find it on television. And now, like you, I turn on Peacock and the splash on my screen is curling. Enough.
It is possible they are showing reruns of curling from another Olympiad because it's on all the time.
It is on all the time. I enjoyed it when I was there, but let's not get crazy. Let's move instead to Adam Silver's attempt to quash tanking. The NBA commissioner told the league's general managers yesterday he plans to implement new anti-tanking rules for next season. Among the possibilities, fewer protections when trading draft picks, freezing the lottery odds at the trade deadline, or even flattening the odds for all lottery teams. Tone, which of any of these proposals resonate with you?
I'm gratified that the NBA is going to try and get rid of tanking. I believe that tanking is a much more serious problem than you do, a much more serious problem than load management, which occurs occasionally, 10 or 12 times a year. Tanking occurs every night, all 82 games, when a team is trying to lose like that. I think it cuts to the heart of the integrity of each of those games, cuts to the heart of the integrity of the league. I think it creates a fraud when you buy a ticket, and I think it destroys that thing which makes sports great, which is honest competition. The Washington Wizards have tried to lose for 3 straight years. Utah, Sacramento, Who else is trying to tank? A lot of teams. Brooklyn is trying to tank. Dallas is trying to tank. Milwaukee now is trying to tank. Your team, Chicago, traded its entire team, and they are trying to tank. Memphis traded Jaren Jackson Jr., and John Morant doesn't play, and they're trying to tank. Indiana can't win. New Orleans, if they had a draft pick, would be tanking. They just stink. So I'm glad that this is in the center of the discussion. There's two things that I like, Mike, because you have to get at the reward. One would be you cannot have a top 4 pick in consecutive years. I would vote for that. And another would be I'd flatten the odds out completely on the lottery. I wouldn't give an advantage to somebody who lost the most games. I'd make sure all lottery teams, were in there. I think you have to de-incentivize tanking and go to the reward area.
It was flat to start with, Tony. Then they unflattened. So they go. So you unflat. So you go back to. So you just hip hop back and forth so you can get a nice appearance. This is about appearances, and it stinks. I don't like tanking either. But if you're thinking that load management happens 10 to 12 times a year, you're not watching the same sport I'm watching. It happens every damn night somewhere. Every night. 10 to 12 times a year. What?
Yeah,
if you freeze the positioning at the lottery, just means you can tank all your games early. These things are for show. They're stupid, and they will not work. And if you want to get rid of tanking, you better get rid of a draft. Because if you have a draft, any sport, and you say Wembanyama is at the top of the damn draft, then I'm going to tank to get him. And anything other than that is a phony lie. It's a lie.
And I
don't care who the commissioner talks to.
This is what I'm saying. I would prevent you from tanking. I would work a system that prevents you from tanking because it calls into question the integrity of the entire league. Let's stay with the NBA and let's talk about two young and up-and-coming teams who had big wins last night. The Pistons once again beat the Knicks, their third victory over the Knicks so far this season, closing out that series 3-0. Last night, Detroit won at Madison Square Garden by 15 points, and they were without All-Star center Jalen Duren and his backup Isaiah Stewart. And the Spurs beat Phoenix by 27 points as Devin Booker only played 9 minutes for the Suns. And Dylan Brooks, you boy, was serving a suspension. Wilbon, who had the more impressive win, the Pistons or the Spurs?
Yeah, Spurs, nice job out of you. Go have some cold cuts. The New York Knicks, we signed off their show yesterday, and I was screaming louder than I just was in the tanking segment.
Yeah.
The Knicks had better win, and they better win convincingly.
That's
Instead, they get their doors blown off in Madison Square Garden by a team missing its second best player and his backup. What? They're missing all their muscle, and Cade Cunningham goes in there and basically points his finger in the chest or face of every New York Knick. Tony, the Knicks can't beat them. I know the Knicks had a similar situation with Boston last year, and they were still able to come back and flip it in the playoffs. I don't see that. The Detroit Pistons are for real.
I don't want to let you off the hook quite this easily. I want to go back to yesterday's segment in anticipation of this game when you said, and I'm directly quoting you here, the Knicks had better win this game. They had better win this game. And then you thought they should win by 20 points. And I believe I asked you, well, what happens if they don't win? Well, I woke up this morning and the world was still spinning and the Knicks had lost. So nothing terrible happened. The Knicks have now lost by 84 points in 3 games to Detroit, by 31, by 38, and last night at home by 15. The Knicks look like a D3 team against Detroit. There's no reason to ever believe that Detroit won't beat them, except that last year Detroit beat them 3 out of 4 in the series and then lost to them in the playoffs, rendering useless what happened last night. Let's take a break. Still to come, Michigan.
Adam Silver's initiative to address tanking demands a deeper examination of the structural incentives shaping executive decision-making. The proposed adjustments, such as restricting lottery odds around trade deadlines or flattening the probability distribution for teams at the bottom of the standings, represent attempts to correct a systemic distortion in which strategic losing yields a higher expected return than short-term competitiveness. From a game theory perspective, tanking remains the most rational long-horizon approach for franchises lacking a sustainable competitive nucleus. If the league were to adopt a rule barring top 4 selections in consecutive drafts, it would materially compress rebuilding timelines. Front offices would need to transition from extended reset cycles toward accelerated competitive development frameworks, as the marginal benefit of prolonged asset stockpiling would diminish. The strategic emphasis would shift from draft-based capital accumulation to internal player progression and schematic refinement, thereby reinforcing the competitive legitimacy of the 82-game season. Turning to on-court evaluation, the decisive defeats suffered by the Detroit Pistons against the New York Knicks reveal a pronounced structural misalignment within New York's defensive framework. The quantitative margin, an 84-point differential across 3 matchups, concluding with a 15-point loss at home, becomes more concerning when accounting for Detroit's absence of its primary vertical threat, Jalen Duren, and its interior physical presence, Isaiah Stewart. From a tactical standpoint, this pattern is more troubling than a routine setback, as it underscores the Knicks' difficulty containing perimeter drives without elite interior deterrence. Tom Thibodeau's defensive system typically channels ball handlers toward a drop coverage anchor in the paint. When that support is compromised, the scheme's vulnerabilities become materially amplified. However, with Detroit playing a lineup that necessitated different spacing, likely maximizing floor spread without their traditional bigs, New York's point-of-attack defense was compromised. Cade Cunningham's ability to manipulate these passing lanes suggests that New York failed to adjust their help side rotations. When the primary rim protector is removed or neutralized by spacing, the onus falls on the guards to navigate screens and stay attached. The Knicks' failure here was total. They allowed straight-line drives and uncontested reads, essentially operating with the defensive efficiency of a lower-tier unit. Furthermore, the Spurs' victory over Phoenix reinforces the concept that system discipline often trumps individual talent availability in single-game variances. While the Suns were managing minutes for Devin Booker, San Antonio's execution of high-motion sets exploited a Phoenix defense that lacks continuity. In both the Pistons and Spurs cases, we see evidence that superior effort and schematic execution can bridge significant talent gaps. For New York, relying on the playoff flip narrative, assuming they can simply increase intensity in the postseason to beat a team they cannot solve in the regular season, is a statistically dangerous assumption. If the Pistons have the schematic blueprint to neutralize New York's pressure, that data remains relevant regardless of the month. The focus now must be on whether the Knicks can structurally alter their pick-and-roll coverage to prevent this level of perimeter exploitation in the future.